iPad on too. We're sitting here chatting and having a grand old time. Good morning, everybody or anybody. I'm sorry, Carol and I were chatting and forgot to turn us on live.
Good
So
morning,
that's my
everybody.
fault. If anybody's out there, I will give it a couple of minutes. Let me go to YouTube.
Yeah, I have that out.
I was, let's see, I got to find myself. And Laura. Live. Okay, there we are. Oh, I got to turn my volume off. A lot of things you got to do.
Yeah, I just pop out the chat and put it off to the side.
Yeah. Well, I have the chat here. Yeah. And it's just you and I here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, I was going to do one thing and then I got set up almost to do that thing and then I chickened out to do that thing. So,
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
I'll do that thing, and then if it comes out well, I'll do it again. You know what I'm saying? But to do it, it's a Karen Tamar. She does a really beautiful double page spread, mixed media without using any paint. And it's just all magazine pictures and Stabilo pens and Neo 2s. And it really,
Oh, cool.
it was beautiful. Yeah. And I had even gotten my colors. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. I have the tiny set. That's all I bought. I only have the little,
I have these for quite a few years.
Yeah.
They last forever.
It's a good product. It's a really good product. And I always forget to use them.
Yeah, me too. That's why they're lasting for years.
And I bought the big woodies too, which I love.
Oh, I haven't gotten those. I only have a couple of Stabilo walls.
Yeah. I have the black Stabilo walls. I buy them by the dozen because they're cheaper that way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you buy a box of them. And then I've got the big ones, but I only have the basic set of the woodies.
Oh, that's cool. But there's a lot of lead in there, so
yeah. And then it even comes with a special sharpener that has to have a big sharpener for the.
Yeah. Hi, Angie.
Is Angie here? Oh,
Angie's here.
Angie's got to be exhausted. Have you been to bed yet? She got the thumbs up to 100 last night.
I watched a little bit.
Yeah, I actually bought a little bit. So
I saw you got a box. Your name was pulled for a box. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I still don't understand what that is, but I'll find out. So, good morning, Stacy. Catitude. Very nice to see you. I'm just going to wait a second. I have picked out an interesting read today from my It Was on Fire When I Lay Down by Robert Fulghum. And it's a little on the long side, but again, it's very funny. And then I have a quote that I found that it's been, every once in a while you read a quote that just speaks to you. And do you guys, but from what not? I'm not understanding that. To
buy from whatnot? Don't know what whatnot is.
Do you guys buy from whatnot? Buy? I don't know, Stacy. I don't know what whatnot is. So Angie said she did sleep some. Is whatnot a? Oh, until 2:30. Wow. Well, 3:30, 4:35, 36, 37, 38, 30. Yeah, you get 6.5 if you went right to sleep. I would imagine you're all kind of Oh, it's another app. Okay. It's okay. It's another app. Gotcha. All right. Understood. All right. Yeah. Prime is good morning, Allison.
Hi, Allison.
Nice to see you. Prime is having their big Prime days where they have huge, deeply discounted stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I never
know.
wait. I never wait. I buy it before, if I want it, it's one of those things. It's a bad habit I have, ever
Yeah,
have.
we did that too. If I,
What?
I'm when the mood strikes, right?
Yeah. Okay, I have a friend who has a whatnot show on Thursday. Okay, and he's doing ephemera. Okay, sorry, darn autocorrect. Yes, autocorrect can be a challenge for sure. Yeah, ephemera.
That's awfully bright on my desk, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm going to start reading, if that's okay.
All right, I'm gonna mute.
Okay. This one is, oh, this is the quote that spoke to me this week earlier. And there's something about the quote that just, I don't know, I can find my camera. She took the leap and built her wings on the way down. And I've been thinking a lot about this quote all week. And I've come to the conclusion that we take this leap numerous times a day. At least I shouldn't say we, I should say me, I. Every time I sit at my crafting table, I'm taking a leap and I'm trying to desperately build my wings on the way down, meaning the building of the wings, meaning any piece of art that I am working on for me is like building the wings on my way down. And that's how I kind of interpreted it, that we take a leap, many leaps every day. When I get out of bed in the morning, that's a leap. And I hope to build my wings on the way down, meaning be able to get myself together for the rest of the day. I don't know. That's kind of what my interpretation of kind of that quote. I thought it was kind of interesting. Good morning, Janet. Thank you so much for being here. It's always nice to see a wrench early in the morning.
Good morning, Jen.
Okay. Now, he has no titles on any of his stories, which is kind of frustrating, but I can see why he does that. Well, actually, I don't know why he doesn't have a title, but this is kind of and this is funny, Carol. This is a little bit about, we were talking about in terms of yesterday's stream and how everybody got into it because we're talking about childhood memories. And Carol and I talked about maybe today we could, talk about travel stories. And we've all have horror stories when we've been traveling. Well, there's a little bit about traveling in here, which is pretty funny. And maybe some of you have done this, and I can find out when I finish reading it. So it takes a while. So what is it you do? Your basic strangers on a plane question comes up at the PTA potluck and the corporate cocktail party and just about any other stand around and make small talk situation you get into. It's a politely veiled status inquiry to clarify social standing. The bureaucratic version of the question is terse. Fill in the blank marked occupation. The IRS wants it that way, and the policeman giving you a ticket, and the passport agency, and the bank. Say what you are paid to do. We will know who you are and how to deal with you. When I ask people what they do, I usually get a stiff little piece of 3.5 by 2 paper that summarizes their identity, name, company name, title, address, lots of numbers, phone, telex, cable, and fax, a business card. If you don't have a business card these days, you are not to be taken too seriously. Though I sometimes think the truth may be vice versa. For example, A fellow traveler's card said he was vice president for systems analysis at Unico. Well, so what is it you really do? And he pointed at the title as if I had overlooked it. I asked again, I mean, if I followed you around all day, what would I see you doing? He talked for a long time, and I still don't really know what he does. And I'm not sure he knows either. When it was my turn, I had no business card. Can't seem to get me down on that little piece of paper. What I do is kind of complicated and takes such a long time to explain that I often avoid the question and just pick something simple. That's true, but not the whole truth. Even if this tactic has left me painted into difficult corners. On an early morning flight to San Francisco, I told my seatmate that I was a janitor, thinking that she might not want to pursue that and would leave me to read my book. When I think of how I have spent my life and how much it involves cleaning and straightening and hauling trash, I don't get paid for it, but that's what I do a lot. Anyhow, she was fascinated. Turned out she wrote a housewife's column for small newspaper and was glad to spend the rest of the flight sharing her tips for tidy housekeeping with me. Now I know more about getting spots and stains out of rugs than I ever had hoped to know. Turned out, too, that she was a member of the church where I was to speak on Sunday. I didn't know that until I stood up in the pulpit and saw her there in the third row. And it further turned out that she knew who I was all along, but was creative enough to think that if I wanted to go around on airplanes being a janitor, I probably had a reason. Another time, I was bumped up to first class on a flight to Thailand and was seated next to a very distinguished looking Sikh gentleman. Lots of expensive jewelry, fine clothes, gold teeth, probably a high caste bazaar merchant, I thought. When he asked me what I do when he asked me what do you do question, I replied off the top of the head that I was a neurosurgeon. How wonderful, he said with delight. So am I. And he was a real one. It took a while to unscramble things, and we had a wonderful conversation all the way to Bangkok. For the 10 seconds, the temptation to also be deaf and dumb had been great. Having learned my lesson, the next time I got on a plane and sat down next to someone who looked sympathetic, I told these stories and then suggested we play a game just for the fun of it, and each make up our occupation and pretend all the way to Chicago. The guy went for it. So he declared he was a spy, and I decided I'd be a nun. We had a hell of a time. One of the great conversations of my life. He said he couldn't wait until his wife asked him, "Well, dear, how was your flight?" There was this nun dressed in a tweed suit, but it was the middle-aged couple from Green Bay who occupied the seats behind us who were blown away. They had listened to the nun and the spy in stunned silence. They really had something to say when asked, "How was your flight?" As the man passed me in the concourse, he said, "Have a nice day, sister." Filling in forms has led to similar situations. At my bank, I wrote Prince in the blank for occupation. On an IRA document, just that morning, my wife had said to me, "Fulghum, sometimes you are a real prince, and sometimes I am." So, since I was feeling princely, I put it in the blank. Clerk couldn't handle it, and we had a friendly argument right there that at the heart of this matter of identity, it was my occupation. Is my occupation what I get paid money for, or is it something larger and wider and richer? More a matter of what I am or how I think about myself. Making a living and having a life are not the same thing. Making a living and making a life, that's worthwhile, are not the same thing. Living the good life and living a good life are not the same thing. A job title doesn't even come close to answering the question, what do you do? Marcel Duchamp was who most people think of as a fixture in the world of fine art, during the period before 1940 was equally frustrated by the implications of the standard inquiry. He would answer, I am a respirator, a breather. He explained that he did more breathing than anything else and was very, very good at it too. After that, people usually were afraid to ask him what else he did. I know. We can't go around handing out 200-page autobiographies every time someone asks for minimal information. But suppose that instead of answering that question with what we do to get money, we replied with what we do that gives us great pleasure or makes us feel useful to the human enterprise. If you happen to get paid to do what you love, feel fortunate, but a lot of people don't. Shift the scale a bit and answer the what do you do question in terms of how you spend a normal 24 hours. I might say that I am a sleeper and a napper, one who sleeps and is very good at it. If ever there was an Olympic event for napping, I will go for the gold. 8 hours and 24, I'm asleep in my bed, and every afternoon I take a 30-minute nap. That is more than 1/3 of my life, if I live to be 75 years old, and I will have spent more than 25 years asleep. No other activity commands so much of my time in one place. While asleep, I cause no one else any pain or trouble, and it is ecologically sound. It's an ecologically sound activity. If I got paid for how well I do it, I would be a very rich man indeed. It would be a better world if more people got more sleep or at least spent more time in bed. There are people I don't much like when they are awake, but they don't bother me at all while they are sleeping, drooling into their pillows. Had you asked me the to be do question today, I would have said I'm a singer. Not only do I not get paid to sing, but in some cases friends have offered to pay me not to sing. Nevertheless, I love to do it. In the shower, driving to work, while I'm working, walking to lunch, and along with whatever I recognize on the radio, I sing. It's what I do. God did not put my desire together with the necessary equipment. My voice is what you might politely call uncertain. I can hear the music in my head, but I cannot reproduce what I've heard, though it sounds fine to me. Over a lifetime of trying out for leads in musicals, I have always been told that I would be best in the chorus, and then got eliminated from the chorus because there were too many of whatever it is I am. I liked being a parent to my children when they were young and had no musical standards and would uncritically sing with me. It didn't matter that we didn't always know all the words or have the tune just right. We made it up. We singers are not thrown by we singers are not thrown by technicality. Singers are those who sing. Period. Sometimes when asked the what do you do question, it occurs to me to say that I work for the government. I have a government job essential to national security. I am a citizen. Like the Supreme Court judges, my job is for life, and the well-being of my country depends on me. It seems fair to think that I should be accountable for my record in the office in some way. I expect accountability from those who seek elected office. I would like to be able to say that I can stand on my record, and I am proud of it. What I do is literally how I spend my time. As of this writing in the fall of 1988, I figure in my life so far, I have spent 35,000 hours eating, 30,000 hours in traffic getting from one place to another, 2,508 hours brushing my teeth, 870,000 just coping with odds and ends, filling out forms, mending, repairing, paying bills, getting dressed and undressed, reading papers, attending committee meetings, being sick, and all that kind of stuff. And 217,000 hours at work. That's not a whole lot left over when you get finished adding and subtracting. The good stuff has to be fitted in somewhere, or else the good stuff has to come at the very same time we do all the rest of the stuff, which is why I often say that I don't worry about the meaning of life. I can't handle the big stuff. What concerns me is the meaning in life, day by day, hour by hour, while I'm doing whatever it is that I do. What counts is not what I do, but how I think about myself while I'm doing it. In truth, I have a business card now. Finally figured out what to put on it. One word, Fulghum. That's my occupation. And when I give it away, it leads to fine conversations. What I do is to be the most fulgrum I can be, which means being a son, a father, a husband, friend, singer, dancer, eater, breather, sleeper, janitor, dishwasher, bather, swimmer, runner, walker, artist, writer, painter, teacher, preacher, citizen, poet, counselor, neighbor, dreamer, wisher, laugher, traveler, pilgrim, and on and on and on. I and you, we are infinite, rich, large, contradictory, living, breathing miracles, free human beings, children of God, and the everlasting universe. That's what we do. Okay, I know that was a little long, but I hope you got something about it, something from it. Uh, and I think the point's well taken that we do all of these things, and a lot of times we don't think about them, and but we try our best, and I think that's kind of what he's saying. Just be you, and it's not really, it's what gives you joy that really is the most important thing, and that's why we all leap. We take a leap every day, and we build our wings on the way down. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Allison. And so we do sleep a lot, and you can say that you're a napier, which is a fancy word for. He made that word up. He's a napier and a sleeper and a napper. So, Carol, what are you going to be working on?
A variety of things. Right now, I'm creating postcards.
Great, super.
And I think I'm going to list them for sale.
Good.
And, I'll put them on my Facebook page since pretty much everybody here is already friends with me on my Facebook page. But these were things that I've done over the past couple of years between iCAD and just general stuff. So I thought I'd make some of these into postcards and create a few. And I've been going through stuff. And what do you do with all the ATCs that you collect over the years?
Oh, wow.
What do you do with them?
You collect them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like they grow, they multiply.
Yeah. Well, and you've been at it. I mean, you've swapped with a lot of people over the years. So you
Oh
haven't.
yeah, way back in like 2006, something like that. It's like,
Hey, well, that's a lot.
so I was going through stuff. That's all. Just trying to get things together. I thought I'd do a little bit of watercoloring today.
I want to do that too. I'm afraid to use. I'm holding this up because Stacy asked for his name, so that's his name, Robert. It's coming in and out. How do you get it to focus? Oh, there it is focusing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yes. Oh, you do, Barb? Yeah. I only know these two books. I know he's probably written other books, but I only know I learned everything I know in kindergarten and in this book. So, yeah, you're welcome, Stacy.
These are watercolors that I did on ATCs.
Oh, wow.
This was a lesson that Kathy Arbor did back in 2017.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know Kathy Arbor existed until last year. Oh, wow.
Allison uses hers for card toppers, ATCs, and iCads. Oh, that's a cool idea.
I always use mine for card toppers. Okay. That's a
So
good
this
idea.
was some of the swaps that I did. This one was the swap theme was spring. So I just
Oh,
did teardrops, watercolored the teardrops, and then put them on. See, I have made extras.
yeah, that's
Each
so
one
cool.
was individually done too, so it's not like
Oh,
each
look
one
at those. Oh, those are so
they're
pretty.
each is different.
Yeah.
So I do have some ATCs, and then I did this one. It says "Be
Oh,
Unique."
and the
This was
border is so stunning. Border, really.
I love my black and white borders.
Yeah.
This one was a mess up, and then this one was a zoo swap. This was one I did.
Oh, wow. Are those, what are those?
Postage stamp, postage stamp.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this one was, postage
Okay.
stamp.
Yeah.
And this one was the zoo swap.
Oh, wow. What a great theme.
So these are the ones that I created, and I kept one for myself so I would have.
Uh-huh. And you
But
rounded the corners on that. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I like the rounded corners. I did that on most of them.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing that onto the postcards too. I don't know how.
I round the corners on my postcards on occasion. Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Well, I'm gonna do the final flip since the people in here watched me fight the battle last week, putting this sucker together. Um, and I said the struggle was real, and it was. And well, if you were here, you knew that I put the last signature in upside down, of course. And fortunately, it was the last signature, so I could take it out and put it right side up. I'm just going to do a quick flip because
If you're
it's,
going to do a flip, put the big square with the two little squares.
yeah.
Do that one.
All righty. I always forget. Okay, thank you. All righty. So here it is. It ended up being a mammoth. You can see how fat it is. And it's pretty repetitive. So I'm not going to go through every page because basically I took the sewing studio box that I got from Johnny, Junk Journal Johnny, and took pretty much everything that was in that box and turned it into this journal. And the box is empty, except for a little bit of what's left from the magazine where I took out a lot of the pictures. A lot of the pages in the magazine became pages in the journal. Let's see, not familiar with signature. And this actually, it's funny. This cover here is from you have about 60 rolls. Oh, wow. This is from a Tim Holtz sheet, which is kind of funny, the cover. But this material is from the box. All right, here we go. And all of these little pictures and all of this came out of, there was a McCall's Needle Point Craft magazine from 1982 that was in the box. And so I just took that magazine apart and I tried to make sure I stitched on every page with my little sewing machine or sewed in, some piece of fabric. This was in the box. I made this was faux rice paper. But this is a piece of pattern paper. There was a pattern in there and I cut the pattern up and I used all of that. Again, here's one of the little classified ads. I just love the graphic of the zipper. I think that's really cool. And again, these ads and then this little bag here, Johnny packed everything in little bags that were in the bigger box. And so I took those bags and made little pockets out of them. Made a little tag again. And so here you're going to see all throughout the book, you're going to see these little classified ads. And it's fun to look at the prices because everything is really, really, inexpensive. And again, here's a piece of lace. I folded over, stitched on. And so that's what I pretty much did. I also I subscribe to Graphic Fairies. Yeah, Graphic Fairies. And they had a sewing bundle, which I printed out and cut up in so I had some of their pieces. So this page came from that. And more of my fake rice paper. This was from the magazine again, a pocket, which I made into a pocket into a pocket. And she included a whole packet of vintage buttons. And they had button cards in the one set, in the Graphics Fairies kit. And so I sewed all these buttons on. This is a button card. And I sewed all these buttons on. And there's a lot more buttons, but I only sewed, this got pretty tedious. So I sewed the most interesting of the vintage buttons on the card. And then I have the other buttons in the rest of it. So again, as you can see, more of these ads. I just tags, more lace. Again, this is a bag that something came in the box. There was a bag. And so I turned the bag into a pocket. Here's her junk journal shop. That's her stamp. And more. Here's some lace, vintage clothespin. And I have that clothespin somewhere. And it disappeared. But you know the clothespins, the ones that don't have the spring, the solid ones. Again, all of this ephemera is out of that magazine that was in there. This is an ad for an Anne of Cleves doll. The pattern was $6.95. Anne of Cleves was one of the few wives of Henry VIII that he didn't kill. And again, this is all out of this paper is my paper, but the ledger paper was in there. More faux rice paper, patterns from the magazine, more from the magazine. So, and here are the extra buttons. I glued them on the cards instead of sewing them on the cards, stuck them up there. So there's buttons and such. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to bore you by going through it because it's pretty, but you could use it as a journal because there's plenty of area to write in. I mean, there's a lot of area where you can write. This is a beautiful vellum envelope that came in the box. But you could journal all here. So I guess it could be a journal that people could write in. I don't know, we carry it around as a sewing journal, but you could do a lot of writing. And so like this came in the journal. All of this, pretty much some of my papers. And this is the magazine that I tore up. Here's a pattern paper that I folded up and folded up and folded it up and made it, sturdy enough to turn it into a page. And this little strip measuring tape was in the box. Some more of the stuff. They had Little Women dolls, so I cut these out and glued them on. And lots of hat pins, and I have them over on my pin cushion. So here's the other end of that bag. More of the classified ads. Needles and hooks. So it really, I really, what I set out to do was to use pretty much 95, the contents of that box. And I did. I would say I probably used 95% of the contents of the box. Vintage sewing pattern and map. Here's the sewing pattern. and I turned that into rice paper. And I don't know what I don't know what I did with the map. Oh, you know what the map? Oh, you know what the map was of? And they didn't use the map. It was a map of Canada, which I thought was odd, but and I didn't use that. That's what it was. It was a map of Canada. But this was from that magazine. It was a picture of a quilt. I made it into a tag that you could journal on the back of. Oh, well, there's a double thing in here. There you go. And this came in the box. Johnny, I didn't make this. Johnny made this. This is that neat kind of thing you can fold. And so I made that a tag. And again, this was in the box. This was a little bag that was in the box. And oh, sorry, it says, here's the cover of the pattern. There you go, ladies, and step out in your pantsuit. Remember when those were popular? Oh man. Oops, my rice paper. Faux rice paper. Here's another bag that something came in, and a tag that I made with scraps of fabric, some stitches, and I had a couple of stamps that I used, and that's it. So there you go, some scissors. So I really think I did the her sewing box justice. And this ribbon came in it too. And so it's perfect for tying this thing together. And so I had a lot of fun. It took me, I would say, a couple of weeks, on and off. And it took me pretty much the whole stream last week to sew the 4 signatures in. And when you see people sewing signatures into a journal, it just looks like so easy. And it's not. But it's a blind, so you don't see it. So that worked out well. So that's it. So thanks for taking a look at that with me. I was doing some gluing in a little glue book that I had made yesterday. So I thought I would go back and, let's see, Carol, let me go back to the 2 of us. There we are. I have made a couple of different journals with different, themes, and I get to work in them. I haven't thought of pantsuits in ages. Yeah. Sundays have turned into a coffee cake day. Now, are you making? I'm assuming, Aunt Beck, are you making the coffee cake? Or you?
Yeah, it's coming out. It'll soon be coming out of the oven.
Oh, nothing smells better than coffee cake. So easy, or so ha 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 ha. That's true. Oh, okay. Made by Pam is finished 1 row of the Tunisian crochet. It actually looks good. I hear you. I'm just learning to crochet. So I've been just crocheting I guess you call it a string. And I crochet a string about yay long, and then I pull it out completely. And then I crochet again and pull it out. And no Barbie patterns. Carol's got the Barbie patterns. So she's got the Barbie patterns. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And everyone had their Barbie stories to tell. I never had a Barbie, so I can't share any Barbie stories. But that was fun yesterday. Everyone had Barbie stories. And today we thought maybe we would talk about travel stories. And I've done what what he had, what he did in that essay that I read. When somebody's asked me what I do, I've made up something. And I think once I did say I was a doctor, and uh, and then I realized I was that was a pretty stupid thing, because if someone started asking me medical questions, I wouldn't know what, I would be giving them incorrect information. But I've done that. Um, I've had a lot of adventures flying or traveling. I think, Carol, you said you had some adventures
Oh
in the
yeah, way back when.
as a kid,
Yeah,
right?
traveling from states to states to go visit relatives.
Oh yeah. Pack everybody in the car, and we're going off over the hill and through the dale. We're going off to see Grandma.
Yeah, pretty much. It was
Yeah,
nice because there were no seatbelt rules back then, and
that's right.
we sat in the back of the station wagon in the far back, and we would make it like a little camp out. You know, we'd have our pillows, our blankets. It was back then, because there were all the highways weren't completed from,
Oh,
you know, interstates weren't all completely done by then, and
okay.
it used to take us 8 hours to get from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts.
Okay. Yeah, that's a haul. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and now doing almost that same haul could take you 5 to 6 hours. You know, with the interstates
Right.
cut
Because the
off at
interstates, yeah,
hours.
that's true. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But we used to sit in the back and do the tractor trailer thing. My dad had a CB, and
Oh,
look
cool.
look out for the Smokies.
Oh, yeah. Smokies. That's right. That was the nickname for the
ten
state troopers.
four.
Oh my gosh. I forgot that. Yeah.
Oh
The Smokies.
yes, those were the days.
Yeah. Yeah. If you got in an
And we used to
accident,
sit in the back, and when punch bugs would go by, I used to get to beat up my brother and punch him in the
yes,
arm.
yes. Every time you saw a Volkswagen, right? Every time
Yeah,
you saw a Volkswagen, you got to punch the person, go punch bug.
yeah.
I wonder who invented that. I wonder who came up with that.
I don't know, but my brother got the worst of it.
Uh-huh. Well, you know what? I think girls are a lot more observant than guys, so you probably spotted the beetle a lot long before he did, and that's where you got to hit him. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
that was fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had to beat him up. And
The
then you'd
big.
sit back there and have your lunch and go through the little restaurants and stuff and get your little care package to go out and
Oh yes, 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 yes.
sit back there and eat your food and count how many vehicles or certain color cars that went by,
Yes, 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 yes.
how
We
many
used to.
telephone poles you seen.
Oh my gosh, that's telephone poles. That's insane. Oh
I
Lordy.
know. And now half the time you don't see that stuff.
No, no. We used to. We would play the alphabet game, and we'd start with A. So you'd look for a sign or a license plate with A, and you'd yell out A, and then someone. So then you'd be looking for B, and it was really hard to find Q and all those letters, but so you'd be scanning anything that had print on it, and to come to get through the alphabet, and that was and of course the I'm thinking of the 20 questions, and you'd try to you'd think of something, and then you would have to say, well, is it animal, vegetable, that type
The
of
I
thing.
Spy.
I
We used
Spy.
to
No,
play
I
I
never played.
Spy.
No, never played I Spy. That sounds cool.
And you had to do it quick because remember you're in a car.
Right.
You had limited amount of time.
Right. That's true. That's
And
kind of.
then I think the one trip that stood out the most was we were on our way up and we were going through New York,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden the border came and it was pouring down cats and dogs. Like it was so bad we could barely see as we're traveling through New York. And then all of a sudden, nothing. It just stopped just like that.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh.
wow, that was amazing. Like it didn't even sprinkle to stop. It just stopped.
You just
It
drove
was
under a cloud, I guess, right? You drove
oh,
through it.
it was brutal for like a couple hours.
Oh wow.
All of a sudden, there was nothing.
That's
When we crossed the border, there was no raindrops at all, not even a sprinkle. That was the most
yeah.
unusual thing ever.
Well, I know that sometimes here, especially in Florida, when you're driving, you can actually see, the rain up ahead. You can see it as you approach the rain, and then you drive through it, and then it stops. But you just drove through it, and then it was gone. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were fun times.
Yeah.
Then you go to see your cousins and they get you into trouble and.
Oh, you'd watch for graveyards. I remember that. Yes, and my father would say, "Oh, look, the people are dying to get in." Ha ha. He thought that was so funny. Yep. Graveyards. Mm-hmm. Yep. Nowadays, you can keep track of your trip by Cracker Barrels because there's a Cracker Barrel restaurant every, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles on the major highways. What? Beck said if you spotted one, you would say, "Graveyard, graveyard, bury all your horses."
Oh, wow.
That makes a lot of sense. Bury all. That's funny. Bury all your horses. No, I did that wrong. Okay. Yeah. This is going to have to go this way. These pages I made in this journal are some of them are a little wonky, but I tried to do like an accordion type of thing, and some of them open and some of them don't. But it's pretty much all black and white. Oh, that way everyone had to start fresh at counting horses, but you. Okay, that's funny. Okay, we counted. Oh, you counted horses. Okay, I got confused. I thought when after you saw the graveyard, you said that, but is it two separate games? We counted horses. Each person kept count of the horses they spent. Okay, then you would watch. Oh, then you'd watch for graveyards. Okay, gotcha. That way, all right. Now I understand. Very cool. All right, that's. I remember. I don't remember, but I've heard stories of when my father was in the Navy. He was being transferred from, I think, Memphis, Tennessee area out to San Diego, California. So they packed us all up in a big old station wagon. And apparently I was, again, no seatbelts, right? So it was my older brother and sister, my mom and my dad and me, and I was in diapers. And they just kind of threw me on top of all the baggage in the back. They kind of made like a an area for me. I guess maybe I was surrounded by the suitcases or whatever, and that's where I was riding in the back. And my father, back in the day, they had those gigantic leather bags that you would kind of strap to the hood of the car that you had water in. And he forgot to fill that up as we went through the desert. And
Oh, no.
I guess we pulled up at a restaurant where there was water, and my mother said I was so thirsty. I just was drinking all this water, and I was probably severely dehydrated. So they got all the way across the country. So he was stationed out there for a while, and I don't remember that because he was out of the Navy by the time I was 3. He he got some sort of fungus in his lungs that was indigenous to the Coronado Valley in this, California,
Oh,
and
wow.
they didn't know. what to do. They didn't really know what it was. And so the only thing they knew what to do was to move his lung. So they took his lung out. So he lived with one lung to the age of 85.
Oh, wow.
But that was the end of his naval career. Now he was career Navy. He was actually they were doing night training for the Korean War. He was a Navy pilot, an aviator. And that was the end of that. And then he couldn't fly after that. So he couldn't have even become like a commercial pilot because he was no longer, because of the one lung, he was no longer fit to fly. So that was the end. And talk about doing what you love. I always assumed, as a snotty kid, my dad liked his job. And I guess I was about maybe 20. And we had this conversation, and I said something about, well, you like your job. And he looked at me and he said, no, I don't. I don't like my job. And here's the poor man got up every morning and drove and went to work and came home for years.
Wow.
He never really liked it. He did it, you know what I mean? But he didn't like it. So I guess many of us, probably the majority of people, don't have jobs that they love. So I guess it's a rare if you can have a job that you truly love. So.
Yeah. A lot of people just do it because they have no choice.
That's right. And I was lucky because I really enjoyed teaching. But I was thinking of that too, about, taking a leap and building your wings on the way down, all the different jobs. I counted it up with my students one day, that I think I had 14 different jobs before becoming a teacher.
Wow.
Well, I bet you many of those in here, how many of the women in here started, probably their first job was babysitting? I bet you a bunch of you started out babysitting. And I got 25 cents an hour. I mean, that was the going rate, right?
Yeah. My first job was in a pizza place.
Okay. Were you flipping the pizzas up in the air?
Oh no. I
No.
made the dough though.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's how I learned to make really awesome spaghetti sauce. And
Oh, well, that's a good.
you learn to cook.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
They had everything made from scratch. It was a very old-fashioned Italian pizza restaurant place. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Yep, made by Pam, babysitting, but then she delivered newspapers. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, my son did that. He delivered newspapers door to door, carried everything. He had his little wagon and pulled it all behind him.
Oh, wow. I had a newspaper boy when I was, yeah. But that was mostly a male, but and then you'd have to do that in the middle of horrible weather, or mom or dad drove you around in bed. At least where I was, it was really bad. McDonald's, yes. Carol and I were talking about that I think statistically, 1 in 10 Americans, their very first job is at McDonald's. 1 in 10.
I did that, but I had to support 2 kids back then.
I know that's a little bit different, right? Yeah.
McDonald's is fun to work at, though.
Yeah. Well, they're now paying. Here they're paying. It sounds like not a lot, but it's not because of inflation. But it's They're starting people at McDonald's here locally at $13.50 to $14 an hour,
Wow.
which is a far cry from what, you made, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How many people waitress? Because waitress is really there's a minimum wage, and then there's the waitress wage, which is nothing near the minimum wage. They get paid a whole lot less.
Yeah, which
But
isn't
they
really.
assume they're going to make it up in tips. And that hasn't gone up. I'm just going through this. This is my black and white journal. And everything's black and white, except for a little bit of red here and there. Ooh, I like this. Anybody out there have a black and white journal, or a journal that's you sold Avon and worked second shift at a convenience store? Oh, Aunt Beck, that's not easy. First job at McDonald's, babysitting, waitress, yeah, $2.13 an hour, yeah, that's about right. And then you were supposed to make up the difference with your tips. My sons didn't wait; they bussed tables, and we lived in a community that was like a summer community. So there was always jobs. They could always get a job working at one of the restaurants in the summertime, which was good. So they ended up washing dishes and bussing tables. And they grew up knowing that those were two jobs that they did not want to make a living at.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not easy, you know.
No, I washed dishes. I wanted to work in a restaurant. I wanted to cook. And I asked this lady, her name was Ann, and I asked her if I could have a job. And she said, oh, by the way, I do have an opening. And I was all excited. And I showed up the next day to go to work. And where the opening was in the dish room, washing dishes.
Ugh.
And I said, oh, okay. And oh my God, I was soaking wet by the time that first shift was done. Becky worked for a forklift parts company. Top pay was $3.83 an hour. First server job. 50 years old. Oh yeah. Those trays are so heavy. So this is Melody. 50 years old, and she was a server, a waitress. Wow. That's really, when you see some of those gals carrying those trays, it's hard work. I don't really have that much in here.
Thank you, Janet and Becky.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd show them as I finish them off.
Yeah. All right. I must have just gotten my sewing machine, and I thought I would sew some of these pages in. That's what I was doing here. All right, let's do some black and white.
So what's everybody else working on?
Yeah, that's everybody going to be playing with today.
Or is everybody getting ready for their picnic tomorrow? Or 4th of July thing?
I heard some idiots shooting off fireworks last night.
Yeah, here too.
It's so stupid because
health matters.
Well, they would shoot off like a couple of fireworks, just a couple, maybe a couple of booms, right? And then there wouldn't be anything for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then they would shoot off a couple of more fireworks, and then there'd be nothing. And then about 5 or 6 minutes later, they would shoot off a couple of more. What's the point? Just shoot them all off and get it over with, Becky
This
says,
one, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just reading. No,
This one reminds me of when we were growing up next to an amusement resort park that was like basically in our backyard called Knoebels Grove, and they had this really huge roller coaster there.
oh, yeah.
I never went on the roller coasters.
Right.
I was never a roller coaster person.
I'm reading Lori's, and her son worked in a dish room, and she would have to go pick him up at 2 o'clock in the morning because that's probably when his shift ended, right? And she said he smelled, and he was soaked through and through. That's yes, exactly. And you smell. And my son was worked 2 jobs at the same restaurant. In the morning, he'd go over and he would do prep. And they had one of those machines that makes the blooming onion. Have you ever seen a blooming onion?
Yep.
And his job was to peel the onions and cut them in the blooming onion cutter.
Oh,
And he'd come in the house and he reeked of onion. I mean, he just stank of onion. And then he would get cleaned up and showered, and then he'd go back in the evening and bust tables. So we had 2 jobs at the same place, but man, he stink of onions. Oh Lordy.
Melody's been working on junk journals and some adult coloring, and she finished postcards.
Ooh, good.
And no plans for the fourth.
No.
I didn't do anything for the first, so. And I'm not doing anything for the fourth because I know up here the fireworks go all week long. They should pick a night and say, that's it. After that, you're done.
Oh, okay. Melanie then went to masseuse school at 53, finally found the job I was meant to have and loved. Well, that's super. Never too late, right? She was a waitress. I asked them currently they're making 2/3. So yeah, 22 years later, and the waiters still making the same wage. Yeah, they fall into another category, and they don't get the raises that. Yeah, Aunt Beck's her 2 men work so hard that you just crash on the weekends. There's no energy to do. Are you going to have Lori looks like she's going to have a picnic tomorrow. That's good. I should use Yes Pace. Ah, all righty. I'm not a Yes Pace fan, only because I'm not good at it.
I haven't even opened my Yes Please.
Yeah. Well, you haven't had anything to glue yet, so.
No, that's true. I haven't had. I only started gluing a lot lately because of you.
Oh, right, because we did that.
Yeah, we had that fun thing with that
Yeah,
book.
we could do another one of those. Next time we could do another one because it would be different. Oh, got it. Just trying to open the Yes Pace. Yeah, Becky says they tip well. Yeah, I always tip well too. Always. Yeah, because that's hard work. And I know a lot of times waitresses get stiffed. They don't get tipped at all.
And what's bad about it is half the time it's not even their fault if something goes wrong because they have to wait on stuff.
Right.
They're waiting on the cooks and stuff to get
right.
cooked. It's not their fault that crap happens.
And sometimes, at least the high end restaurant one restaurant that I worked in, everything was made from scratch, and we used little saute pans to make all of the sauces, from scratch. and there was only so many saucepans, and the dish room got behind in washing the little saucepans. So that slowed everything down because we didn't have the little saute pans to make the. So it's everybody working. It really takes everybody. And I used to go in and try to give the dish room kids a pep talk. I only had to work in the dish room one night. I was very lucky because they had just hired a woman as their fry cook. And upstate New York and in some areas, Friday night is fish fry night. It's a big deal. You get fish, fish and chips, and so she was there, and she didn't make it. She couldn't do it,
Hey, Mary Lou.
and so I volunteered. I said, "Give me a shot. I'll do it." I've never done anything like that before in my life. Never been anywhere near a deep fryer. And so the owner of the place said, "All right, we'll give you a shot at it." And talk about stink. I smelled like French fries. I mean, it's not a bad smell, but I guess there's a lot worse things I could smell of, but I smelled like, well, you know what it smells like.
I don't know if anybody else has used these. I haven't used them very much, just a couple colors, and I thought I'd try them on the edges of some of the. They are very creamy and they smear really nice. They're water soluble though.
Are they the pastels? Like the.
Yeah, the water soluble oil pastels from Prima.
Oh, okay, cool.
Messy buggers though.
See, my daughter is at the casino as a bartender. Oh, wow. People, let me read this again. As a bartender, sometimes people will pay with $100 bill and tip her 25 cents or sometimes nothing. See, that's awful. Hi, Mary Lou. That's awful.
Well, I'm doing pretty good on my postcards. Let's see how many I got. One.
Hey.
This one I made out of a card. I put watercolor paper on it.
Oh, that's a good idea. So that's the playing card, and then you glued a piece of watercolor paper to the playing card?
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Well, I'm going to play with, I bought some watercolors.
I've got 9.
And I'm afraid to use them, but
I have more, but I don't know what I'm going to put on them. These are watercolor backgrounds. These are some of the things that you can do with your watercolors. Yes. And then look, I fussy cut out a zebra, and look how cool he looks.
Oh, yeah, he looks great. That's a great idea.
I wish I had more books like that with the animals in. Here's another one. A background just on watercolor paper with a couple of different colors.
Uh-huh.
This playing card is it's 5.5 by 3.5. No, I'm not doing a swap. I am going to just have them and I'm going to sell them. I'm going to put them in bundles of 3 or pick 3 and...
That was my next question. Were you going to put them together like Halloween? I saw one like Halloween card. Are you going to have like a Halloween themed card?
I could do a theme, or you could just pick 3, right?
Yeah.
This was a random one. This is a variety of stuff. This is paint and inks and markers and stencils and Zentangles and
Oh,
see what you can find in the picture.
wow.
And flowers. There's a little, looks like a snail down here.
Oh, wow.
And then I used my stencils on there with the feathers.
That is so, it's so, yeah. It's got a little bit of everything.
No, Melody, I have an Etsy shop, but I'm going to just put them on my Facebook page. So almost everybody here is a friend of mine on Facebook. So the Etsy takes so many fees for doing simple things like this. It's not really worth putting them in and having them take, fees off of a small dollar item.
That's what I've heard. Everyone's complaining about them, and they're going to it's Squarespace.
Yeah, I heard of that. I don't know how they are though.
Yeah, I don't either, but I know that a lot of people are thinking of changing to them because of the Etsy's pricing has become so prohibitive. I mean, a lot of times Johnny will show stuff like in a stream. Johnny will show like her next studio box. She showed it in her stream and sold it in the stream and said, if you don't buy it in the stream, then I'm going to put it in the Etsy shop. I'm going to have to charge you X dollars more because I have to cover the fees.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So if you do it either on a YouTube thing, if I offer them up on YouTube, maybe I could do a video. But most of the people that are in the chat are either members of Aunt Beck's Creations or
Right.
Aunt Blair's, her Facebook group. More than likely, if you're a member of either of those groups, I'm there as well. So
That's true. Yeah. Hi, Natty.
but when you're going to put stuff on your cards, if you don't, and I've had this happen, if you don't sand the base of the card where you are going to glue to because it's so shiny and plasticky, it's going to peel off eventually. So you need to rough up the surface with a fine sandpaper before you glue. So that way it gives it something to have tooth and stick to. My Facebook group. Oh, you found my Facebook page, Janet? How did you find my Facebook?
Oh, I tell you, she can find anything.
I didn't put that public yet. I didn't put that public yet. I have a couple of things posted, but I didn't put it public because, I have stuff that I could put in there, but I was hesitant. So many people are selling things. You feel, I don't know, there's so many sales going on anymore. It's like, do you?
That's why you have to leap and build your wings on the way down. Leap and build
Yes,
your wings.
I know. I knew that story was about me. Thank you. I was listening.
You got to leap. Build your wings on the way down, and there you'll be good.
Thank you, Janet.
You can sell your stuff on the way down, right?
Yeah, I still have a bunch of pictures, and I have some canvases that I posted my canvases on my Facebook page. I just haven't invited anybody to my Facebook page.
Well, it's kind of hard to have a party if you don't invite anybody to it.
Well, I know, but I wasn't ready to. I have no choice, but I wasn't ready when I created it.
Right. And now?
Now I don't have a choice.
Now you have to be ready. Yeah, you have no choice. Well, sometimes, what is that? Necessity is the mother of invention or something like that. Now it's a necessity.
Yeah, it is. More than I want it to be.
I know. You got to do what you got to do.
I've
Take
got
the
some more
leap.
backgrounds. I don't know if anybody'd be interested in just backgrounds, or do I have to finish them off actually as in a postcard? This is kind of a dendritic.
Let me make you big.
Oh, they can see.
Can they get see? I can't.
This is when you just put something down and pull it off, and
Right.
it makes that look of trees and stuff on your background.
Well,
And
that wouldn't need much. You could just add an animal or something. You know what I mean? To finish it, or leave
well,
it
yeah,
so it is.
I wasn't sure what I was going to do. If people like just random. Look at that. That looks so cool. I love the zebra. I'm hesitant to put him down on anything yet. He makes a great.
Oh, he looks great there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So you know what I was thinking? Make some prints. Take him and then use him and just make prints of
You could have your. You
all
could
kinds.
have a zebra collection,
Yeah.
and you could have him on several different backgrounds.
And
He
here's
would be
another one with random watercolors. Just make a couple of little trees on it, and everything else is just thrown on there and splatted. There's no rhyme or reason or fanciness about this. It's just
right.
colored. And then you
So
see
pretty though.
what
It's so
if you
pretty.
have a water, you have your colors up here, and your water has to match down here.
Right. So you get the purple and the purple, or the violet
Yeah.
and violet. Yeah. The zebra
So
works on lots. Yeah, the zebra would look, it looks great there too.
this one was a picture that my daughter-in-law took of a rock with the northern lights.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So this is my take on her photography.
Oh,
So
that
it's
is
an
so
actual picture, but I
right.
did the painting of a section of her picture with the
Yeah.
northern lights.
God, that's gorgeous. That is beautiful. So the rocks are the photograph and the background is
Oh
watercolor.
no, she actually took the pictures of the northern lights.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And
she has a lot of photography and
right.
photographs, and that's her job. She
Oh, right.
takes she does workshops and teaches you about your cameras and sets you up and teaches you the settings for um, using your camera to take
Like travel.
landscape
Yeah.
photography. And she just did a workshop out in Newfoundland with the icebergs and everything. And then she does around Banff, Alberta.
Okay.
She
Cool.
takes people all over and just does. But I every now and then I'll say, "Can I use this photograph?"
Right. Yeah. I'm sure she's
I
now
don't know
she
if anybody else knows Mountain Dreamer, Teresa Peterson. She used to send out tons and tons of cards, and she's always 3D. Like her cards are immaculate. That's what this one is.
okay.
That one wasn't mine.
It's not familiar. Now your daughter-in-law is independently. She works for herself. She's not working for a company.
No, no, this is her own job, her own
Okay.
business. Those that like steampunk is
I like I like that.
just on a card. But it's so simple, and most of it is watercolor. Like I have tons of backgrounds
Yeah.
that I thought of making, postcards out of, because what do you do with them? They're an odd size.
That's a pretty postcard. That's pretty. I wouldn't see that one. You could just. You could just mail. You wouldn't have. I wouldn't do anything to that one. Wouldn't do anything to that one.
These are in 2017. Like,
Yeah,
so
that doesn't need anything. I don't think that needs anything. I just mail those. Put a stamp on it.
yeah, he does. The Zero works on lots. He was pretty cool find. He was in my encyclopedia.
That book that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's getting down there now. It's definitely getting down there. This I did when Beth did a watercolor with the llama Christmas tree. That was
Oh,
my version of the llama.
oh, that's cute. The llama dama dama. A lot of. I've done.
Hi,
I guess
Deb.
I've done one. Of, I think I've done one of Beth's paint-alongs, and that was fun. I really enjoyed it. Hi, Deb. Man, Deb, you absolutely killed Keisha's sale yesterday. Holy moly. I don't know whether anybody was in there when Deb's stuff came up.
I think Deb should sell by herself.
I mean, every last thing was sold, A through Z, and everything in between. I didn't go up to Z. I know it didn't go up to Z, but
It was amazing
it
as
was
long as I could stay
amazing.
awake. I could not stay awake. Well, I was half awake, but I couldn't look at
I
anything.
saw Deb's stuff. I guess I fell asleep at around 11:30. I left.
Those little books were cute, and the dominoes, and then I think the last thing I saw was the the clusters, the long clusters.
Yes, I saw those. And what else did I see? Saw the long coasters. And we saw you were Deb was doing the yeah, because that's what you were worried about last Sunday, whether she was going to get the box in time, or maybe last Thursday when you were in the room. I know that was your concern, whether she was going to get the box in time, and she did. And now the box is empty because I think everything's sold. I don't think you had anything that was left over. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, Deb needs to have her own page. Talk about people that needs to have their own pages.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Deb had an Etsy shop at one time.
Well, I mean a Facebook page, just a Facebook
Oh,
business page.
I don't, does she? No.
I
Deb,
don't.
do
I
you
don't.
have a Facebook page that we don't know about? Or did you have one in the
You
past?
should have.
Yeah, I know. She doesn't. She should. Yeah. Well, there was I guess it was I think it was the giveaway for the 100 thumbs up, right? And the number that I put in was 38. Unfortunately, I had two devices open. I had my laptop open and my iPad open. So by accident, I ended up entering 38 twice.
Luna.
So next to my name was 3838.
Oh no.
And so I knew I had to take it down. And guess what the number was? It was
38.
41, and I would have won with 38. So I didn't win. That's okay.
Deb does have a page. It's called Rosevine Design. I gotta write that down.
Yes.
She hardly goes there. That's what I'm afraid will happen because I put a lot of my stuff on just Facebook or Instagram, and I thought about posting prices and stuff on Instagram because I have a huge following on Instagram.
Well, then that's where, if that's where the folks are, that's where you need to be. Becky.
I know she's killing me.
Oh, Becky, you're so.
She's being mean.
Yes. Oh my, I bet you it's good. Maple nut. Oh. Now, was that a yeast? Was that a yeast coffee cake, Becky? Because that's the real deal. Probably was. No one back. I got my prize box full of lace. Okay. No yeast. Oh, okay.
She saved the recipe to her page.
I wish you could save a piece of it.
I don't think I have enough ingredients to even start it. I'll have flour,
I have flour.
baking soda. I don't have eggs though. If it calls for eggs,
I don't have any eggs now. I have to go food shopping. My talk about cupboard bare. Yeah, and I keep on putting it off. I'm thinking, well, I can't go tomorrow because I'm going up to Cape Canaveral for 4th of July party. So can't go
nice.
tomorrow. Oh, heavy cream and sour cream. Huh. I have half and half, and I have sour cream. I don't have heavy cream. Yes, thank you for the reminder for thumbs up. That would be awesome. I would appreciate that so much. Rose Fine has been my business name for many years. Oh, okay. Carol?
You get inspired by my page.
Yeah.
There's nothing on my page except a couple of canvases.
Well, she's thrown down the Galter and real maple syrup. Yeah. I buy stuff that they say it's real maple syrup, but I know maple syrup comes in grades, and this is probably the lowest grade of real. You must get good maple syrup up where you are, Carol.
Yeah, they do have. I just can't eat a lot of it.
Yeah. Heavy cream, yeah. Well, I have half and half because that's what I put in my coffee.
Becky wants to do a holiday market in November. Well, maybe in October would be better. And that way, because if you're going to do a holiday market, shipping might, take longer than a month around that time because everybody's mailing for Christmas.
Oh, okay. $9 for Crisco. Oh my gosh. People still use Crisco? I guess they do. Crisco's
I
been
haven't
around.
used Crisco in I can't tell you how long.
Man, that's been around for. Now, you wanted to do a holiday market. What do you mean? Will you all kind of make stuff, or I'm assuming? Oh, you're gonna make stuff? Only use Crisco. Oh, pie crust, yeah. I guess my grandmother used Crisco.
Yeah, I used it for pie crust as well. That was
Yeah.
about the only thing I haven't made pie crust and I buy it now.
Yeah, that's true. You can. That's always, yeah, that's good too. Um, I guess the best is lard makes the best pies, but people don't really have access to lard, the old fashioned lard. Yeah, my grandmother, I've told this story many times, but she used to bake pies for the nunnery that was down the road. She would bake them fresh pies 2 or 3 times a week. And when I'd go to visit her, I would just sit on the table in the kitchen and watch her make these beautiful crusts. And there was no recipe, you know what I mean? She did it by touch. She did.
I just put a paper over my wet watercolor.
Oh,
And look at the background you get.
oh, that's pretty.
And then you also have then the page that you put it on.
Yeah.
My encyclopedia is getting down to very nil to none usable pages, except for maybe the text part of it.
Right.
I've used all the just plain text pages and pulled out all the cool images.
Oh my gosh. Deb said, best cookies I ever had were made from ground beef drippings. Ooh, yum. Bye, Elise. Have a wonderful day.
Hi, Elise. Thanks for stopping in.
Gosh. Well, that would be lard, right? Hamburger drippings.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
With flavor.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to show you how back in the day people used everything. You know, everything was used.
Una, buddy. Ah.
Well, is suet the same thing as lard? Does anybody?
One is beef, one is pork.
Oh, suet is
Probably.
beef. Beef.
I thought pork.
Oh, pork. Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I know.
But Google it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like these. I think I'm going to do more backgrounds like these. I'll have to do the other side again.
Yeah. Well, they're quick.
Oh yeah, you just slop on the watercolor and put a page on it, and it's done. Lift it off. You could use Saran wrap too. Does the
Oh
same.
yeah, Saran wrap gives you a nice texture.
But this is just from the book page. So and then you get to use the book page, right? You're getting double. So instead of using the Saran wrap,
So, okay, I want to watch you do this from beginning to end. So can you do one?
oh yeah. Let me just use the back of another.
Okay, I'm making you big.
Oh. I just usually swap it. Now my water's dirty, remember?
Okay.
So I'm just slopping on.
Okay. Wetting it with dirty water, letting it bloom a little bit, just throwing on some color.
It's just making sure it's wet.
Okay.
like I said, my water's dirty, so and I don't mind if it goes and blooms into the other water because or the other paints.
Okay.
And
So you-
I'm hurrying because I want it to stay wet.
So you got the primers there, like blue, red.
Yeah, so now I'm just going to take my book page
Okay.
and just gently push down on it. And this one didn't work as well. So if you want it to dendritic, you've got to put it down and lift it up.
Okay.
Put it down, lift it up. It's too wet right there, but as it dries, you'll get a nicer pattern. And then you can mix with the other colors that's already on your page. And then as it dries, it gets tacky. And you create yourself a nice little picture. And that's all.
Wow. I really like that. That's really cool. And then the encyclopedia page can be torn up and used as
Backgrounds.
backgrounds, fodder. I mean, yeah.
Instead of using the plastic.
I love that. See, I think I'm going to try that with my new watercolors.
So that gives me some background pages
Yeah.
that I need because I'm running out of background pages. I started taking them out of my book. The one that I showed the other time on the stream where I was doing all the backgrounds with.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I started pulling them out of that book because that book is falling apart
Okay.
because it's glued instead of stitched.
Oh, okay.
And so I started taking the pages out of it and putting it in here because this is a stitched book.
Uh-huh.
And then I can just do the design and stuff on here like I did. Instead of collaging bits and pieces, I just took the whole thing.
Right. And Becky said it looks like a park.
A city park with a dog in it.
Yeah. I'd have to go back and look at it again. I see a man standing in the middle of it. He's kind of bent over.
There, the man.
Yeah.
Vacuum.
Right there. Looks like he's ready to leap. He's going to leap and build his wings on the way down.
This one?
Yeah. Doesn't he look like he's ready to leap? He's right in the middle. I'm pointing like you can.
Yeah. Oh, in the
Do you
middle.
see him?
This guy?
Yeah, point to him. He's right in the middle. He's on the pinkest. He's got like navy. He's got the dark up further. Right there. He looks like a man or getting ready to leap.
This one
No?
almost looks like a seahorse.
Okay. Now from here, he looks like a guy.
Hi, Brenda.
It's so fun when you look at these, right? And you think, see, yeah. Let's see. Looks like walls of Rio Grande River Canyon to me. Okay. Hi, Janice. I don't think I said hi to you earlier. It looks, I mean, the colors are just so beautiful. You know, with your zebra.
These are QOR.
Okay, Lori sees the guy too. I see the man. Okay, thanks, Lori. I'm not going crazy. I see the dog.
These could be other people with just adding on legs or an arm.
Yeah, I see the dog. I see a dog in the lower right hand corner.
Yeah, and the tail going
and
up.
The tail, and he's got a curly tail. Yes. Yeah, that easily could be a dog. You could ink that little doggy, that little puppy in. I don't see anything out of that other area in front of the guy. I don't see anything. I guess you said seahorses. Yeah,
Yeah, up in the right, they look like a seahorse.
yeah. It is fun though. It's like but you know that
You never
zebra.
know what you're gonna find.
You know with the zebra though. You know what you could do with the zebra. You could make several sizes of the zebra. You can make another one, but shrink them down a little bit. So depending on what the background is, you could make a little bit smaller zebra. But he looks good there.
Yeah, I need to get a color printer first.
Yeah, yeah.
I only have a black and white.
But well, a zebra's black and white.
True, true.
Come on.
He would be shaded because this guy has a little bit of brown around him.
But you can make a black and white print and then
I
hand
could.
color in the. You can make them. He works on that one, but
Just simple little backgrounds, right?
yeah.
Compared to, let's see, I got some paint on there. Compared to this one, which would you pick? The messy one
Mm.
or the plain one?
I like the one you just did because I like those colors better.
This is like, a
I like
field and
that.
then sky
I love that. That looks
and
like
then
the Irish countryside.
a stormy ocean.
Yeah.
Luna vacuum. Yeah. Yep. Shuts her up every time.
Yeah.
So I'll make a couple of backgrounds out of that. And this I did on the. This is a ripped off card of what was on the back. I would use this side before I'd use this side
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I
because
like that.
it gives more depth, and
Yeah.
except for over
Yeah.
here I needed to add some more stuff.
Yeah.
But
I like the other side better just because it's more texture too.
more interest, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks everybody.
Yeah, I definitely going to try that with my watercolors. I'm
So
going to
these
use
I cut out of watercolor. They're to match my um, Rolodex.
right.
So I just took a regular Rolodex card and traced it onto my watercolor paper and cut it out.
Yes.
And
That
that way I can do watercolor pictures in my Rolodex,
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
which it fills up rather quickly when you're doing your cards because they're like
Oh, yeah.
they're fluffy.
Well, yeah, they get fluffy fast. For
So
sure.
that's gonna fill up in no time. So I was looking the other day. I was looking on how to make your own Rolodex box, or just instead of Rolodex, just get a box and just make the cards.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be that hard. If you can get the dimensions, you know what you
Well,
could use?
yeah.
It has two little rods in it, right? That the cards snap on a little rod.
Yeah, these are plastic molded in.
But
So
guess what the rods could be? Two knitting needles.
yeah, I seen somebody make one like that.
Because I have two knitting needles. I don't know what I'm going to do with. I could make a Rolodex box
Yeah.
and use the needles as the
And
thingies.
then just use a hole punch to make your card, and
Yeah.
then just cut the two slits.
Yes. And then they could go on to the.
Hi, Safia.
I could do that because I don't know what to do with those knitting needles, and they're really long.
Well, we could do that on during the week or something. We could
We could
make a
play
new
around
box.
with that. Yeah. Well, You know who makes cardboard boxes all the time out of anything is, hi, Safia. Yes, it's Carol. Um, Carol, yes, is Ava. But I could make a box. I could fashion a box because I've got cardboard. That would be fun to work with. No, I'm not knitting, Lori. Ha ha ha. Very you.
I only know how to do 2 stitches in knitting, and I got rid of all my knitting needles.
I used, well, actually, this came in the sewing box, which makes sense. And I know what I'm doing with the big bobbins. I'm rolling my scroll. So, but there will be no knitting. Um, I I used to be able to knit and purl.
Yeah,
So
that's all I know how to do.
yeah, I made a scarf that was about 20 feet long. Um, I guess, but I think this would make a Rolodex box would be a much better use of the knitting needles. Oh,
Talking
look,
about,
there's your bowl. See,
yeah.
there's Carol's
Okay, look what
bowl.
I found. I had a little ball of yarn,
Well, that's the
and I
same color. That's the same color as the ball of yarn I have in mine. That's funny.
and this is that new stitch. What is it called? The,
Tunisia?
the pearl
Oh,
stitch.
I don't know.
Whatever the last stitch was
Fluffy. No,
is
is
like
that what is that
it,
Becky's? Is
pearl. That's it. Pearl. So I tried it with this, and let me tell you, there's a big difference from using the floss
yes.
to now this is 12 stitches and this is 10. This is with the bigger needle, and this is 10 stitches with a smaller needle.
Oh wow. So when you say knit and purl, I always thought it's spelled Purl. I always thought it was spelled Pearl. So it's knit and purl,
Pearl. Yep.
purl. I never knew that. I learned something new today.
So this one is coming out pretty cool. And then I got this far, and then I thought, well, gee, do I want to stop here, or do I want to combine like she did with um, her crochet along with her blanket?
Uh-huh.
So start with do so many rows of purl, do so many single, do the next stitch, and just just keep going.
So people can just purl? I always thought it had to be knit and purl.
Oh no, you could just do purl, or you could just do knit. You could
Oh
do
my
either.
gosh.
And this bowl was made by MBA,
Yes.
and it's a good weight. I love it. It doesn't go anywhere, and the yarn pulls out of there with no problem.
Yep.
It has a little bit of live edge.
Yes. I'll show
Yeah,
my
pretty much, Becky. Yeah.
I'll show you my bowl. So you have two bowls. There.
But yeah, MBA turns these on his lathe, and then he sits there with a little piece of sandpaper and hand sands everything, and it's really nice and smooth. But it works fabulous. It works fabulous. Yeah, it would, Deb. That would make a nice scarf, but I only made it 12 inches wide.
So here's my bowl. Mine's made out of cherry.
You have to make yourself bigger.
Oh, I thought we were the same.
No.
Okay, let me make us the
Bye,
same.
Lori.
Bye, Lori. So
I don't know, Becky, but that would be, you could go to his Southeast Woodworks page and ask him.
here's
Make yourself bigger so we can see.
Oh, I thought I had. Let's see. There.
And there's yours.
There's my bowl. Can't get the. Yeah, there you go. I have the same color yarn as you have in yours. Isn't that interesting?
Oh yeah, mine is very fine though. I have this, and this is the size yarn that I need to use to make the Barbie dresses.
Oh, okay.
This is like a cream color, sandy color.
Yes, the same person made. Yes, the same man. The same man made both bowls. Yarn bowls made from gourds. I don't know.
Mine's white oak,
And mine is wild. And mine is wild cherry.
and it's what's really nice is each of the bowls have their own unique characteristics with their
Yes.
grain.
Yeah, the grains are just.
Yours goes up and down, and mine goes around and around.
Yeah, mine goes up and down, and then it gets really. Look how bright it gets, like blonde on this side. It's
I
got
know,
some
it's beautiful.
beautiful variations, and then the inside is gorgeous, and then the bottom, you can see kind of the rings.
Yep, that's where he.
Put it on the lathe.
Yep.
Yep, I can't wait. It's gonna be hard.
My son does it with metal. He works with metal, and he has machining and
Yes,
stuff.
it is.
He
Yeah.
does tons of stuff out of metal.
Turning is magic. I've only done it a couple of times, and it is so much fun. You just take that, put that piece of, wood in the, snap it into the lathe, and turn that machine on, and then
Yeah,
just
I did it when I had a drill press. They have an adapter that you can put on your drill press.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You can make small items and candlesticks and.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think I made a rolling pin, which was not very hard to make, but I was at a friend's house who had a workshop, and so I made a rolling pin.
Yeah, it's very dangerous too. He's had things, pieces fly off, and you don't have it on right.
Lily, come on, give me a break. Poor Lily.
I love the bowl though. They're very sturdy, and with the weight, even if you would knock it off, it's not going to break.
No. And of course, it would keep, if I, for me, if I'm knitting here, it would keep. Lily has like a third instinct. As soon as I get yarn out, she appears out of nowhere. And
Oh boy, let's play.
let's go play with the yarn. And that would kind of, she wouldn't be able to do that. At least she, I have a ceramic
She
bowl.
has a ceramic bowl.
And a cat, of course, yes.
Yeah.
They love that. I mean, God, I have a whole thing full of black and white photos. I've been saving these black and white photos forever. Isn't he cute? Isn't he adorable? He's a cutie. A cutie. Look.
Pam made a end table in junior high.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know how you'd weigh it down. That would be hard because gourds traditionally are pretty lightweight, especially hollowed out. Huh. Unless you had flat pieces of metal that you somehow glued to the bottom or had fixed to the bottom and somehow disguised it. Yeah, adhere it to a base. Make a base, maybe a wooden base, and glue it on a wooden base, like a little. Like say something like this. Say this was the gourd, and then you made like a little cap for it that would sit on it like that. And this would be, you could have the weight in here, and then the gourd would sit on something like this. And you'd have somewhat sort of weight down here disguised. A wooden square base, a false bottom. Yeah, basically a false bottom. Because a gourd would be interesting. I think it would be tricky though to make that slit where the yarn goes. I think that might be a little bit difficult. I think you'd have trouble making that slit without cracking the gourd. Unless maybe you would make that cut before it completely dried. Because once the gourd becomes dry, isn't it pretty brittle? I mean, I don't know. I'm just Dremel. Yeah. Yeah, the Dremel is good because it's not as harsh. Well, I like this, but I like that. I like her. And I like him. I like her, but I don't know what happened to her head. Did I give her his head?
Thank you, Janet.
Don't want it to
His woodworking shop on Facebook is Southeast Woodworks.
There you go, Becky. It's fun. Becky said that's it. She's separating out black and white pictures. She's going to get them. Oh, Becky, I have some really cool black and white. I mean, I've been collecting these. Most of them come out of Vogue and fashion magazines, but let's see. Here's one that I really like.
I really have to learn to. I don't have notifications sound on my phone, and I really need to, see things and check things because Janet messaged me. Sorry, Janet. I just seen it.
Janet.
I'm not as adept as she is on all the multitasking when you're,
Oh, yeah.
She's really good at it.
Uh-huh. Let's see. When I do the black and white, every once in a while, I like to just put a little piece of red. So I wouldn't use that, but I might use that because why not?
I redid the other side of these Rolodex cards.
Oh, okay. All right.
So now they both have the dendritic look.
Yeah, I've done the dendritic just with 2 pieces of glass.
Yeah. Watercolor is very versatile with paper, so you can have fun with it.
Well, I told you, Nick the booksmith, she made this really awesome watercolor journal, and I want to try to make that. And I bought gigantic sheets of watercolor, huge sheets, because we were doing some project. There, it was like 24 by 30. They're and I cut them down. So, give her an animal head, you think? I know. I could do that. I was thinking that. That's exactly what I was thinking, as an animal head, but I don't. Yeah, I could. I'm sure I have black and white animals in here somewhere. But it wasn't really going to be that kind of journal, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
What do they call that? Anamorph.
where you mix up body parts. That really
Yeah.
was not going to be. um, we could,
Wow. Where did 2 hours go?
oh my gosh! Oh lordy!
That
Told
was
them
that was fast. We won't tell him if it was good or bad, though, will we?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, tell him he has to go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see that. uh, That would be interesting. Well, I guess we have to. Someone else is coming on, right? Isn't that the?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. Isn't there always somebody else going on? Yeah, I
Well,
think,
this
I think Lori
is it.
is.
Is it Lori coming on?
Yeah, I think Lori left to get ready to come on.
Oh, okay. Well, then we should probably say so long.
Yeah,
And
we can always do more impromptu Facebook gatherings.
yes, that was fun. Becky did that a couple of times this week, and
Yeah,
it worked out really, really well. And I thank Becky for doing that
and
because
I know, people want to get together, and why not? Like, if you just want to hang out and just chit chat, and
right.
you can go to Anne's group. And I don't know if Becky does any more in hers. Thank you, Janet.
Yeah, she's been opening. I don't know, but I guess the last time Becky's opened them, she's opened them in my room. But Becky's got her room too. Everybody's got her room. If you have a Facebook page, you have a room. So
I don't have. Oh, I don't have. Oh, really? Just
yes, you
how do
have
you?
a room. If you have a Facebook page, you have a room. At the very top of your Facebook
I've
page,
seen that, but I thought it was just in your group.
nope.
Oh,
Click on that and you have a room.
oh, that's cool.
And then you can invite people. So you could literally invite everybody that's in your Facebook group, or I do believe they'll give you a list and then you can check off.
Who you want to invite?
Yeah. See, Becky says anyone can open a room,
Oh, well, that's cool.
even you. So,
Well, thank you everybody for posting links. Appreciate it.
yes, thank you so much for being here. I know Sunday morning is a difficult spot, and I really feel that I have not really given you much, but Carol was here creating, which is it's good.
I was playing.
Playing, and so I have Sue, Carol, Fee asked to join Anne's room. Okay, I will go check her out. I think some people are. Well, I guess my regular Facebook group is open, is public. It's only the room, the craft and chat one is private. That's the only one that's private that you have to answer the questions in. So, okay, I will say goodbye.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you, ladies, for being here. Everyone have a wonderful rest of their Sunday. And enjoy the 4th, or at least enjoy, if you're working, enjoy your day off. There won't be any mail.
Have a nice 4th of July, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And be careful. Don't blow yourself up.
Mm.
All right. Hope to see you later. Yep. Carol's on. Deb's on at 5 Eastern, 4 Central. And you can watch her make some really cool stuff. Bye, Safia. Thank you for stopping by. All righty. I'm going to hit end broadcast because the one last time I forgot to hit end broadcast.
Yes, you did.
I know. I
You hit
now.
it twice. Hit it twice.
All right. Once and then twice.